Okay, good morning everybody, and welcome to another K8 Does TABR ride, Trans-America Bike Race. As you can see from the ticker tape, we're on day 4, and this is section 1. Now just a quick note, last night's final section 5 didn't take place because Kate couldn't get into the software. There was glitches with RGT yesterday. I had glitches and a few other people. And Kate didn't get in, so she took an extended rest. And she'll be catching up later on the session that she's missed. But I'm hoping there are no real problems today. I'm not going to be able to ride the full section today. I have to pick my girls up from school at 2 o'clock, and I need a shower beforehand, so I'll ride for as long as I can, and then I'll need to get off and get something to eat before going and picking up my girls. But I'll do the best I can. I'll stay with Kate for part of this climb, and then I'll return later on this afternoon and this evening. So there's going to be a few broadcasts today. I'll only be riding sections. I do intend doing as much as I can, but I've got my own race series this afternoon and evening as well. The Tour of Sicily, the Team 3R. So I'm quite tight for time. Obviously, if Kate doesn't show in the next couple of minutes, then there's a more. Oh, here we go. Is that Kate? Or is that one of the no? That's one of the cameras. I'm really praying that Kate's not having more technical difficulties, because my biggest worry when Kate was scheduled to do this ride over 17 days, she's trying to break the women's record. And my biggest worry was, well, can she do that when RGT plays up? Because to try and make up time afterwards, when you've missed it, when you're already on a schedule like Kate's on, is going to be incredibly difficult. And that's the only downside to this virtual ride at the moment that I can see. I mean, Kate's strong enough, but the major downside is RGT falling over. And it seems like that is a problem. Not a nice thing to say, but it's just reality. It's happening. The platform still isn't 100% stable. But then after 5 years, neither is Swift. So, you know, this kind of technology, you're going to see glitches all the time, especially as they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Okay, so it doesn't look like Kate's here. There we go. And I'm actually going to wait and see if Kate, in fact, I will ride, because if Kate comes, I can always wait for her. Whereas if I'm not riding and she joins late, I'm going to have to catch her. So I will ride, but this is really disappointing. And I suspect there's a more deep-rooted problem. and we're into the climbing now, and this goes on all day. This is a very tough stage. Ah, Kate's arrived. Good. Okay. So I'm going to slow down and let her catch up. Turning my fans on. Better. Yeah. Like I say, Kate, that's my biggest worry for this virtual ride you're doing. Server issues or RGT issues or just tech issues. I've no doubt you're strong enough to do the ride, but if you have to take time out, can you claw back the missed time? That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, let's be positive. Obviously, you've had a better rest than you would have done normally, so hopefully you're feeling good today. And you get more rest than what you originally planned. It can throw your body out of whack. Your body's only expecting 4 hours and you're getting 6 or even 8 hours sleep. It can be very difficult because your body will say, what on earth are you doing? So Kate's number is looking good at the moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and see if we can't pick her up. So instead of watching me, it's time to switch views and see if we can find Kate. Once I find my mouse pointer, there we go, there's my mouse pointer. So page down should work now. There we go, there's Kate. And we'll stay with Kate now for the rest of the ride. Like I say, you can see from the profile, folks, this is going to be a tough day for Kate. This is going to be 4 hours of solid climbing. And it gets harder towards the end, as you can see from the red section. A slight downhill to finish, but that's nasty red and orange section towards the end. Just so that you can see what I'm talking about, I'm going to turn my camera off for a moment so that you can see. Let's just transition across. There you go. So you can see the orange and red section at the end. And that's pretty, that's going to be pretty tough because it's going to take you best part of 4 hours to get there. And then to have to finish with a climb like that. This is going to be a tough day out. So lots of encouragement, please, folks. Kate can't answer you. She's not going to be able to text back. But give her some love and feedback. I'll post, let me turn the camera back on. I'll post links to the Facebook pages a bit later on once we get into the ride proper. Working too hard at the moment. No, Jason, she shouldn't be doing 3.5. She did on the first day and paid for it. On the steeper climbs, maximum 3. And even then, I think that's probably too high. 2.7, 2.8 on the climbs, I think, is a good number to achieve. Yes, occasionally push it higher, but you don't want to be running into the red too much. Don't forget, we're only in day 4 of 17 scheduled. Like I say, Kate did definitely push it too hard on day 1 because she was full of adrenaline and fresh. And I think even Kate will admit that to me. So I think you'll find that Kate will be more careful about pushing over the 3 watt kilo mark. Only for emergencies. What you should be trying to do is find a pace that you're comfortable with Well, this is nice at the moment, but find a pace that you're comfortable with and stick with it. And just watch your numbers. Now, Kate's numbers look good at the moment. And what you've also got to remember is this is section 1 of 5 today, and she'll probably add in a little bit extra as well. And each section is going to be close on 90 or 100 kilometres. So you're looking at almost 500 kilometres, or 300 miles. More realistically, I think it works out about anything from 250 upwards, mileage wise. So while we can get off the bikes after doing 80 or 100k, Kate doesn't have that option. Yes, she gets a small rest, but when you've got a session like this one, which is virtually all climbing and the hardest bit at the end, this is going to take her 4 hours. This is going to use up all of her 4-hour session. So she's not going to have any recovery before she goes into the next section. So when you see profiles like this, these are the hardest days. Where you're climbing all day and you're using up all of your allotted 4 hours. Whereas yesterday, I didn't ride it, but I covered section 3 that Kate did last night, Central European time, my time. And as a group, they were able to finish with 40 minutes to spare. And so that gave Kate an extra 40 minutes of recovery on top of, I think there was an hour on top of that. So instead of just 1 hour, she got an hour and 40. I think I'm right there. Anyway, what my point is, if Kate can finish the sections early, then that's a really good thing because she gets the extra rest. But sections like this one, first thing this morning, don't really lend themselves. I'd be very surprised, and this is not knocking anybody, and certainly not knocking Kate, but I'd be very surprised if this session finishes much under 4 hours. I think realistically, it's going to be close to the limit. Purely simply because it is climbing all the way. Yes, you might get a little bit of downhill, but it will only be very, very slight. What I've got to try and do is stay focused, because you saw there where I dropped back. And that happens a lot with me. I'm concentrating on my commentary, not looking at the screen. And before I know it, I've eased up. And sometimes I've dropped back as much as 100 meters. And that's hard. That's hard to close. Especially when you've got a rider doing a constant pace, like Kate's doing. Thanks a lot. Now I'm riding this ride on zero food as part of my fat burning regime. Not that I've got a lot of fat to burn, but we'll see how I feel in an hour or two. So I'm just on water, haven't had breakfast. And sometimes I do that with my rides. Good way of training the body. I don't recommend it to everybody, especially if you're not used to endurance riding. Certainly don't try it. But it's feeling good so far. Now this first section, the slope's never really steep until you get to the orange and brown sections, and then finally the red at the end. But it's constant. So an hour of doing this and you certainly know you're in a bike ride. Okay, it's doing the right thing. She's keeping a nice, about between 130 and 140 watts. She's keeping a nice cadence. So she's basically got it dialed in, staying in the zone, which is good to see. God, it's hot here in the Netherlands. Very hot. And my pain cave is in the attic. It's a small room in the attic. Well, I've got a condenser or an aircon unit, but it's only small to try and help keep the temperature down. But even with all the fans going, I reckon I'm pretty close to about 25, 26 degrees, which for me is too hot. So it's a bit uncomfortable. And it's set to be over here in this part of Europe, it's set to be like this all week, right till the weekend and through the weekend. Which would be nice if I'm riding outside when I'm picking up the girls, but it's not nice when you're riding indoors. So the most important thing is to try and get enough fluids in and not get cramped. I started to get cramped when I rode on, what night are we on? Monday night. Okay folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot on ahead a little bit, and that's so that when I start playing around with the mouse to show you the Facebook pages, I don't end up behind Kate, too far behind. So I'm going to push on for a little while, just to get a bit of a gap. Let's see if I can find my mouse. Where is this? There we go, got it. Okay folks, so this is the ZMS live stream Facebook page. This is where you can see if I can get my mouse over, there we go. There's the Just Giving link to the charity. So pop in on that and drop a donation to Kate and the team. But you can see lower down on the page here, you can see that this is the live stream. There's interviews going on at the moment, but this is the live stream from ZMS. And that's Kate in the little window here. So my feed gives Kate full screen for the whole of the ride. ZMS obviously do the interviews. They have to take care of the sponsors. So there's a lot of extra content on there. If you just want to watch Kate riding, then stick with my stream. Okay, and the other page, let's just pull it up, is Kate's own Facebook page for the Trans-America bike race. And that's called K8 Does TABR on RGT, as you can see. And you'll find updates here. You can see Claire Simon, Val Simon, is posting updates on the days, telling you about what happened with the server, etc. Why Kate is not chatting. So drop by both pages and take a look. Okay, let's get back to the action. There we go. So you see, just by rolling on in front, that gave me time to sort of sit up and pull up the Facebook pages. And that was the whole point of me doing so. So when you see me doing that, that's generally the reason why, because I'm doing something else. And I've learned from experience, I can't commentate and mess around with the mouse and stay with the pace. It's just too many things to do at once. Now you'll notice messages popping up on screen from time to time, asking you to subscribe and to like. Please do so, because I'm trying to grow the channel. It's mostly RGT content based. I'm trying to grow the channel so that we can showcase RGT to more riders and basically show what can be done on the platform. So show me a little bit of support, hit that like button and the subscribe button as well. Let's see if we can get to, what am I on now? I'm on 153 subscribers. So by the time Kate finishes this ride, let's see if we can get me up to 200. Tall ask, but with everybody watching, if you all hit that subscribe button, you not only get my videos notifications when Kate's riding again, but you're also helping RGT and Team 3R. Talking of Team 3R, we have our Wednesday night race series later on this evening, and that's kicking off at 8:30 p.m. UK time, 9:30 p.m. Central European time. And today we're on stage 3, which is more or less pan flat. It's 34 kilometers in length and only 77 meters of climbing, so even less climbing than Borrego Springs, which I think you'll all admit is pretty flat. So it should be one for the sprinters unless of course a group can get away early and keep the break. I'm looking forward to covering it actually, see what happens. It's been stage 1. We didn't have a great turnout, but we had about I think 14 riders. But then stage 2, we got over 20 and a good turnout. So I'm really hoping, because I've adjusted the time so that it doesn't clash with the westerly VR race, I'm hoping we get a few more riders turning up. Now, the other thing to mention is that it's called the Tour of Sicily. It's 10 stages, all in Sicily. The courses have been digitised by Samir, of Samir's Magic Roads. And he's an absolute wizard. He's the guy that's done the roads for Kate here, along with Riley Harvey. So, very good roads. But the most important point is that it's for riders 3.2 watt kilo max, maximum watt kilo and below. I will put on another event if this one stays successful. I'll put on another event that's more open for the stronger riders, and that's a promise. But we need this one supported by the lower cat riders. So if you're 3.2 watt kilos or under, come along. It's great racing. The courses are brilliant. Over the 10 races, we've got 2 mountain, 3 hilly, 3 rolling, and 2 flat. So a good mix for every kind of rider type. And look, I'm talking and getting further and further behind, look. Let's just do a bit of a speed up. Back to Kate. I always do this. I end up so engrossed in my chatter, I end up falling behind. Whoops. Just trying to do a little bit. There you go. Ah. We had a good turnout last night on the Section 3 ride. Some of my regular riding colleagues like Rob Stone, Luke Jeffries, Paul Douglas. Lou was out for a while. James Ogilvie came out. So it was a really nice session yesterday. JJ rode it all. I think JJ and Rob were the two that rode the full section. Fantastic riding by them. But Kate is certainly getting good support from the community. Certainly when it's in line with UK and Central European time slots. And I think the Americans are supporting her during our early hours where we're in bed. So yeah. The key is to try and be smooth, which is not what I'm doing, but this pace doesn't really lend itself to my riding style. But Katie's doing just that. She's staying nice and steady, nice and constant. Which is what you got to do when you're doing ultra long endurance riding. I'm yo-yoing backwards and forwards like a child yo-yo. purely simply because I'm not into a settled pace. Because I'm a lightweight, I'm primarily a climber. I don't go well on the flats or on the downhills. That's where I lose time. But I'm used to pushing quite hard on the climbs. So when I've got to ease it back a little, I struggle to find a comfortable pace. If you want to check out my regular riding pace on hills, have a look at some of the videos on my channel where we've done Cap Fermenta or the Stelvio. Okay, coming up to the 45-minute point, 18 kilometres done. So we're looking at about 25 kilometres an hour at the moment, which is very, very good. I'm chatting into the microphone, Kate. It's a lot easier. I find it hard to type and ride, and I'm not doing the event. Now this is the kind of climbing I enjoy, and it gets to the point where I can get out the saddle. Some resistance. And this section steep. Yeah, 5.3. That's right. $7.5. Okay, folks, you can check out the ZMS live stream page. If you type ZMS live stream into Facebook, it'll bring you to this page. And here you can see Kate's Just Giving site. I'm pointing to it with the arrow now, where you can drop a donation. And you can also, ZMS are covering the whole race live. So you can see here, Kate's giving an interview at the moment, but they have interviews, they have sponsors videos, they have the live stream down here in the bottom corner, that goes full screen. They show maps of where Kate is on the route across America. So it shows a map of America and the route she's doing and the progress on it. So you can check out that page and get updates. But also, if you go to Kate's own K8 does TABR, type that into Facebook, K8 does TABR, it'll bring you to this page, and you can see that Claire Belly Simon is posting updates. More about Kate not responding because she wants to concentrate on her riding, which I totally agree with. She needs to concentrate on her numbers, keep them steady. But you can find all the updates. That was posted 3 minutes ago. So you can find all the updates, day 3 updates here, look. Claire will give you the running total, but you can also get that from the ZMS website. So pop by both of these Facebook pages, folks. A good resource to tell you more about the ride and what it's all about. Okay, let's get back to the action. There's Kate. Turn off the window capture. Yep, there we go, and transition back across. There we go. That's the advantage of pushing on ahead. Gives me time to sit up and play around with the mouse. If I was actually staying with Kate and trying to do that, instead of being 200 metres up the road, I'd be 200 metres behind and probably never catch her again. And you can see I'm sweating like a pig. My shirt all the way down, but I'm pretty hot. It's the temperature outside is roasting here in the Netherlands. I think it's climbing towards 30 degrees, so trying to get a little breeze from the fans, but okay, thanks Jason. We'll see you later. Chris Little has joined the ride. Now some people have asked, what's the flag that Chris Little is using? Because it's quite unique and there's only a couple of riders on RGT using that flag. And I didn't know until the other night when he told us all. And it's Antarctica. So he's no problems with the hot weather. At least I don't think so. So Chris is riding along. We've got Brian Schmidt. I think I pronounced that correctly. He's been a rider that's popped in from time to time on my group rides and other rides. It's nice to get his support. I think Mr. Pants has been here from the start, but looking at his kilometres behind, he's obviously stopped and then got going again. I don't know what's going on there. But the riders that have been here from the beginning is Hurst and myself. But I won't be doing the full ride. I don't know whether Hurst will be able to do the full ride. I certainly won't be able to do the full ride because I have to pick my girls up from school. But I'll do an hour or two. Like I say, I don't really enjoy rides of this gradient. I prefer climbs, proper climbs. It's just, I just cannot get into a rhythm on a ride like this. I prefer, like when you saw the terrain and I was able to get out of the saddle when it went orange for a short period. That's my kind of riding. But it's not about us. It's about Kate and supporting her. And I'm going to join as many times as I can. And obviously, I do my best to live stream as well. Cover as much of the race as we can. Okay, so that's an hour down and 25 kilometers done. So I was right when I said we're doing about 25 kilometers an hour. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to race my own series tonight or whether I'm just going to cover it as a commentator. It's a flat stage, 34 kilometers of pan flat terrain, which is going to suit the bigger gliders. I think I'd be working pretty hard to stay with them. So I might not ride it because obviously I can't do commentary if I'm racing at my max. That's just too much to ask. So I might well dip out, seeing as it's a flat stage, do the commentary on it, watch all the groups forming, the leaders, etc., etc. And then maybe dig in next week when it gets to the mountain stage, which I'm quite looking forward to. A slight hill. starting to feel a little bit hungry. It's 12 o'clock midday here in the Netherlands, and I haven't had breakfast yet. I started this ride on just water. Just trying to lose a little bit of weight that I put on over the pandemic. While maintaining my strength, obviously. So these rides are good for me, Kate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good endurance riding. Especially when I can do the full ride. That's pretty cool. I did Monday nights on just one banana. So we did 3 hours 20 minutes on just one banana. Now I don't recommend this for newcomers to ultra endurance riding or those without any experience. Don't try and do that, because believe me, you'll crash. You just cannot do it. My body's used to burning fat. Not that I have a lot of fat. I'm only 63 kilos. In fact, I'm a bit less at the moment. But my body's used to it, so I can get away with it. I wouldn't recommend other riders that aren't used to riding on empty stomachs trying it, because you'll end up bonking. Bonking is where you run out of fuel to cycle. And believe me, you don't want to go there. For anybody that's actually done it, it's a pretty horrible feeling. But I regularly do coffee and just black coffee and no food rides. Just to train my body to use whatever else is available to it. I actually have a goal. It's not going to happen this year, possibly not even next, but it will definitely happen in the next couple of years. And my goal is to be the oldest finisher of the transcontinental race, which is the 4,000 plus kilometre unsupported ride across Europe. Generally reckoned to be one of the hardest bike rides in the world, because they don't make it easy. You have 4 checkpoints and they're all on the top of mountains, and you have to do them in a certain order, and the organisers are very cool. They will have you climbing the maximum amount of elevation they can put into the race, and sometimes it's even on gravel. So it's a pretty tough race. And I've taken part in 2. I've marshalled in 1, so that's 3 series. But I keep a close check on what's happening with the Transcontinental, because it's got a special place in my heart. And I don't think I'd have any difficulty getting in. The team know me. As I say, once you do a volunteer, you're more or less offered a place anyway if you want one. Not always, but yeah, if you're well known to the team, they will offer you a place if they think that you're going to bring something to the event. And if I was going for the oldest finisher, that would definitely bring something to the event. Now, there's no way I'm fit enough this year. And anyway, it's not taking part. But I knew I wouldn't be fit enough this year after recovering from the accident I had in 2018. It's been a long road back. But next year, or more likely the year after, I think I'll be in a good place. And then it's something that I want to go for. I mean, I'd love to do this race that Kate's doing. I really would like to do it. I could never do the RAM, the race across America, because of the cost. I mean, that's just gone silly nowadays. You have to be fully supported, and the cost of doing a RAM is just out of the ordinary cyclist's league. So I'd like to do the TABR myself. And as with the Transcontinental, I would never enter the Transcontinental unless I thought I could actually do what I'm proposing doing, which is finish it as the fastest, or the oldest, should I say, not the fastest, the oldest competitor. I wouldn't even go to the start line if I didn't think I was in the kind of form to do that. And I'm my biggest critic. If I think something's off, I'll say it's off. I won't bullshit. I learnt my lesson very early on. But I'm no stranger to ultra endurance riding. Those folks that know me will have heard of some of my exploits. But I did the 1,000-mile Land's End to John O'Groats in 5 days. I did the Leeds-Paris-Leeds cycle ride in 3 days. Just over 3 days. So, as well as the Transcontinentals, indoor distance champion on Swift. Did that in 2016 at the European Bike Show. So lots of witnesses. Oh, Race Anand's joined us. And Mr. Hood. Okay, we're falling a little way behind Kate while I've been chatting away, so we'll see if we can close the gap. Let's, for those of you that were wanting to get into endurance riding, just notice Kate's power numbers and wattage. If you're just coming onto the broadcast, it's live, but you'll be able to watch it all later and go back and just have a look, and you can see that from the start of this climb to an hour and 17 in, Kate's power and power numbers has more or less stayed constant. She's really doing a good job of keeping what we call in the zone. She's set herself a pace and she's sticking to it. Set herself power numbers and she's sticking to them. And that's important, whether you're training or whether you're actually doing an event. You need to teach your body, and particularly your legs. They will eventually start working on autopilot. Mind you, I can do a ride and I don't even have to think about my output. I mean, not this kind of ride, this isn't what I'm talking about, but I can do a ride where, you know, if it's a profile that suits me, I don't even have to think about my legs, they just go into autopilot mode. And that can be a great advantage. And I'm sure when I do my interview with Kate, which I'm going to do at the end of this Trans-America bike race, when Kate's finished it, I'm going to do a long interview with her. And that's one of the questions we're going to talk about. Whether she got into the zone and her legs took over in what we call autopilot mode. And it happens. You speak to a lot of ultra endurance riders and they'll tell you, yeah, of course I felt it. I felt it on day 1, I felt it on day 5, whatever. I mean, very unlikely it would happen on day 1, depending on how much training you've done. But it will certainly happen throughout the TABR for Kate. You know, she'll have days where she'll wonder where her legs are because they'll just be working without any input from her in terms of mental fatigue. She'll just get on the bike and her legs will do the stuff. And it's a wonderful feeling when that happens, because you know that you're starting to really get in the zone for ultra endurance riding. And Kate plans on doing this ride next year in real life. And I said last night during my commentary, I said that doing the virtual TABR is going to be a harder challenge than doing the real life, because doing it virtually is a lot harder mentally. I don't care what anybody says, I've done both. I've done real life events and I've done virtual events. And I know the virtual events are much harder. To keep your focus multiple days when doing a virtual event is very difficult, because you don't have things like scenery, you don't have things like interacting with people. You know, like when you go for a bread roll or something in a shop, you don't get that when doing it virtually. So it's a lot harder, and I think this will stand Kate in very, very good stead. I think if she gets through this as well as she's hoping to, and I think she will, I think she'll smash it, then the confidence that will give her going into the real life event is immense, because she'll know she can do the distance, but she'll be so strong mentally. Because like last night when she couldn't get in, she just took it in her stride, got some extra rest, and hopefully she'll be strong enough to make that time back later. And that's all you can do. Forgive the vulgarity, but shit happens, and you've got to be able to cope with it. And I fully expect, to be honest, we're only in day 4, and I'm not saying this because I want it to happen or I really hope it doesn't, but I don't think we've seen the last of technical problems with RGT. I just don't, which is really sad. I wish I could say, no, it's going to go without a hitch. And my only major hope is that we can get around the problems, we being Kate's team, can get around the problems with the help of the RGT folk, and it doesn't spoil Kate's challenge, because I'd hate to see a challenge ruined by technicals beyond her control. I mean, any technicals on the bike she'll sort out herself. She's well capable of that. She's got the spare parts. So I don't see that being an issue. But there's nothing she can do like last night when she couldn't get into the software. You know, there were server problems. I had problems. I got kicked out. And I had issues last night towards the end of the ride. I had to restart my app, which is not what you want to be doing when you're doing live coverage. So here's really, really hoping that technical issues are kept to a minimum and don't influence the ride, because it's hard enough without having to worry about that side of it. I mean, she's doing amazingly well. I'm very, very impressed today, because that figure has stayed at 2.3, 2.4 for virtually the whole ride, and that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's a pleasure, Mr. Hogg, a pleasure. Seeing as I've got a bit of a gap, we'll pull up the page again. Find my mouse. Come on. There we are. Okay. Okay, let's transfer across. Okay, folks, this is the ZMS live stream Facebook page where ZMS are following the whole race. Their coverage is much different to mine, though. You can see Kate here in the picture. She's answering some questions now, but they intersperse their coverage with interviews, questions like this. They have sponsor videos, etc. as well. So it's not like my stream, which is totally focused on Kate for the whole of the ride. They split it up, but it's a nice stream to watch. Gives you all the information. Obviously, don't go away and leave mine behind. But while we're on this page, I just want to point you to the Just Giving link, which you can see my mouse hitting now. Okay, so the Just Giving page is why Kate's doing this. We'll just accept cookies. There you go. So you can see that we've raised $1,037. Kate's aim is to raise $4,200, which is $1 for every mile she's riding. But I'd really like you to read Carolina's story. So come along to this page, read the story, and then drop a donation. Now, I lost my own wife to cancer very young, so I've done more than my own fair share of fundraising in my own time. But this is a wonderful cause, so come along and give it a like. Okay, and the other page which you need to go to get all the updates is Kate's own. Let me pull it up for you. There you go. Kate, or K8 does TABR on RGT. And on this page, you've got the admin Claire. Let's just find her. There we go, Claire Belly Simon, posting regular updates. Like you can see, the last one was 24 minutes ago. So she's posting regular updates on the page. So go here to get the latest on how Kate's doing and any messages. Okay, back to the action. Just as Kate's catching me. I mean, I think they've done a wonderful job setting all this up. It can't have been easy. Let's transition back across. There I am. But as well as giving a shout out to Kate and Kate's charity, what I would like to ask folks, because I really do believe I'm earning it, is drop me a like on the videos. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing, because I'm really trying to grow the channel, and this channel is mostly dedicated to things like this, to RGT events, RGT races, my own race series on RGT. So it's not for myself I'm doing it for the community. So hit that subscribe button, folks, and the like. Give me a like. Let's see if we can get double figures today. Okay? So if you haven't hit a like, just take the time out. It's not going to take you more than a couple of moments. Take the time out to like the video. I don't ask for much, but it would be nice to get that little bit of support back. A lot going off in the chat. Mr. Breaker's joined us. I think it's Tony. Wonderful to see all these people supporting Kate, though, coming along and joining the rides. Not everybody can do what me and some of the others like Rob and Luke do, and that's stay for the whole event. I can't stay for the whole event today. I would if I could, but I'll be back later. Need to get a shower, something to eat, and then pick my first little girl up at 2 o'clock. So I'll probably end this broadcast in about, well, I'll cycle for another 25 minutes. Then I'll leave it running. It'll run for another half an hour, so. But then I'll have to be out picking up my girl. You never know. I might be able to fiddle it in spectate mode. I might be able to fiddle it so that I can actually cover the full ride. But picking up my second little girl, I'm out of the house for an hour. It's half an hour there, half an hour back on the bike. So I do 2 hours of real life riding every day without fail, because that's I'm retired, that's my job. My job is looking after the girls, getting them to school, getting them breakfast, getting them dressed in the morning, getting them to school, and then collecting them from school. Hilk is the real worker of the house. I'm just the guy that gets to do this and look after the children, which, to be honest, is a job I absolutely adore. I wouldn't change it for the world. Watching the girls grow up every day is something I missed when I was younger. Didn't get to see my children growing up because I was in the military and I wasn't a very good parent. But now I've been given a second chance, and it's the best part of my life. I love being a parent. Yes, I'm an old parent, a little bit too old, but that's why I keep myself fit, folks. I mean, I'll be telling this story in my vlog, when I get it going, which is going to happen very soon. I'll give you the full story, but That's why I do what I do. Keep myself fit. I can still play football with my girls and do all the things they enjoy. Rock climb with Natasha. In fact, the climbing gym has just opened up again here in Groningen, so I'm going to be renewing my membership, taking Natasha. I've got to find myself a regular partner again. So not only will I be cycling, I'll be rock climbing 3 times a week. Don't know how I'm going to fit it all in. Might have to wait until that's the halfway point. You've just seen we've gone under the yellow banner. That was the halfway point. So halfway in 1 hour 38. So yeah, but we've got the toughest sections to come. So I don't think the second half of the ride is going to be done as quickly as the first was. Sadly, I won't be able to ride it. So not that I'm dipping out, because I actually love climbing. So I'm missing what for me is the best part of the ride. Not the best part of the ride for Kate. It's going to be bloody tough. But if anybody can do it, Kate can. I hope you're enjoying the live streams, viewers. If you are, feel free to leave a comment. So who have we got left? Oh, we've got Ryan Schmitz is still here. Chris Little, a little ahead. Oh, Mr. Vins has joined us. Welcome, sir. And obviously, I think it's Tony. Let me know if anybody's listening. Is it Tony Blake? I think it is. I'll find out, because I'll check out the ride roster later on. Oh, and Vince is wearing the old World Bicycle Relief Kit. I used to wear that back in the day, 2016. I still have my World Bicycle Relief, the white version kit. I had my Team 3R jersey stolen along with my bike when I was doing the Transcontinental. That's a story for another time, folks. 5,000 euro bicycle stolen at a train station. But yes, I sometimes wear my Road Bicycle Relief t-shirt when I'm doing my broadcasts, when I'm not cycling. In fact, I may well do that tonight if I don't decide to do the race. My legs feel amazing. The soreness has gone out of them. So this endurance riding is really getting me back to a decent level. I'm finding I can change pace nicely without too much difficulty, close gaps. I can't wait to start putting it into real life racing because I feel good. Okay, 40 kilometers remaining, or 25 miles in old money. Come on, you got this, Kate. And with a bit of luck, Kate should finish under the 4-hour banner, so that'll give her extra recovery time. I mean, there's the hardest section of the ride to go, so I'm not going to call that. That red and orange section just looks absolutely horrendous. Right at the end of the ride. That does not look nice at all. You're going to be hitting that when you're really tired. So I think it's going to be hard going. I'm hungry. But like I've said before, folks, don't try what I'm doing at home unless you're experienced doing it. I'm riding on just water, nothing else. And this pace I'm setting, the pace I'm doing is actually my fat burning zone. So but it's not something you need to be doing. Oh, it's not WBR, it's dirt. My apologies. It just looked like the old WBR jersey. It's dirt, which is, what does that stand for? Oh, I forget. Dad's. Oh, I forget. A bit of downhill for a little while. Now, for recovery, when I say I'm hungry, for recovery, and also to help my aging muscles, I'm going to be making some scrambled egg on toast when I've finished here. And I may even dig out a tin of sardines. So scrambled egg on toast and sardines. And that will be my recovery food and protein. Because that's one of the most important things when doing endurance riding. And certainly if you're doing what I'm doing, which is fat burning, you need to make sure your muscles aren't wasting, that your body isn't using your muscles as energy source. So protein after a ride like this. Fish is always a good source as a recovery meal, especially sardines or mackerel. Anything like that makes a superb after ride meal. I mean, that by all means have a proper meal later, but for a snack, you can't beat sardines on toast or mackerel on toast. So another 9 minutes for me, and then I'm afraid I've got to call it. I'll leave the footage going. Put you some nice music on. And just going back to the subject of recovery, if you want a good recovery drink after a hard ride, then if you're not willing to spend money on all the expensive recovery powders and the like, chocolate milk is about as good as anything. Now, what I sometimes do is I'll get chocolate milk and I'll grind up some cashew nuts, so, or any kind of nuts, but cashew nuts in particular grind up really well, and they're quite, the texture's nice when you put them in chocolate milk, and you make it into like a sludge and then eat it with, it's like, it ends up being like flour or flan. You end up eating it like with a spoon, but very, very good for hydration and for recovery. That's one of my biggest tips, to be honest, because you're getting protein in, but chocolate milk is just so tasty after a ride. Okay, 2 more minutes and I'm gone. Really enjoyed this session. Even though, like I said, this is not really my kind of terrain. It's not steep enough for me to get comfortable. I like to get out of the saddle and be able to push the pedals around. So, but I've enjoyed it. It's been good. The legs feel magnificent. I can speed up and slow down without even feeling resistance, to be honest. My legs feel that good. So this endurance riding is definitely helping me, folks. And if you're training for an event, this is what you've got to be doing. You've got to be doing long distances. So thank you, Kate, for encouraging me to, I'll get my words out, encouraging me to come along and ride with you. As well as supporting you, you're helping me, lass. So it's a win-win situation. And I love it. And you're riding like a trooper. You've kept good numbers all day. Wonderful. Just keep it going to the end. You've got a hard section coming up, but just keep it going and enjoy it. Just wait till the clock ticks over the 2-hour mark, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, 10 seconds. And that's me. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave the live stream on, so I'll turn the camera off. Just bear with me while I get off the bike and turn the camera off. Where are we? Put the microphone out of the way. And okay. Transition across, webcam off. There we go. So like I say, I'm going to leave the live stream working, but I've got to go and have a shower, get something to eat, and then go and pick up the girls. So I'll try and call in at the half-hour mark and turn the pedals so that I can maintain the live feed. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch to some music for you. So see if we can find that as well. Switch the view slightly. There we go. And let's see if we can find some nice music. So, okay, folks, I'm turning the microphone off. So take care.
Alle Guten, alle Bösen folgen